anglerfish can only catch prey that swim directly above them. Often days or weeks pass between catches. Only a few creatures can disturb an anglerfish. A brown crab looking for a shelter. A hungry anglerfish. And it's not alone. They're lurking almost everywhere. Lyse Fjord is like a minefield. Welcome to your new home. From now on, he has to run the gauntlet every day. Only a few cat sharks survive their early years. Not even scientists could explain why the anglerfish spits the baby out again. But this little one gets another chance. A female naps in the shelter of the rocks. She's being watched by an octopus. Mostly active at night, it rarely hunts during the day. That piques the interest of the female sea. Orcas. They use the clicks to seek out prey. It's not just their size that makes them feared hunters, but above all their intelligence and teamwork. Now they're targeting the female. The kill is shared. Everyone gets something. Mating season is coming. This visibly weakens him. Like many females, this one has given birth in the last few days. It's a boy. His mother belongs to the harem of a mighty male. Nearly 3 meters long and weighing over 300 kilos, he is the undisputed ruler of the beach. His harem consists of about 10 females. He can be sure his females are watching closely. After all, they only want to mate with the strongest partner. The babies suckle every 2 to 3 hours to grow as they should. Quite straightforward, but in recent years that has changed. It's just too hot. Their fat layer is way too thick. It insulates them perfectly in the icy sea, but now they're tied to the shore to nurse their young. When the sun burns down, they're at risk of heat stroke. Cold water brings relief, but that means abandoning their little ones. A dilemma for this mother. Her daughter is just a few days old. She urgently needs to drink, but her mother is too far gone. She's completely overheated. The female is torn, but she has no choice. The baby doesn't seem to realize her mother is in the sea. Unsettled, she tries to snuggle up to another seal. The old man has his reward. A bull's dominance is usually short-lived. After 2 or 3 years, it's over.
The cow needs to fatten up her pup to be strong enough to survive and swim on its own. Each day, the baby seal will put on more than 2 kilograms of mass and blubber. Survival of this species requires the baby to be quickly weaned so the female can mate again. The mother feeds her pup for just 12 days. Then, she leaves it to fend for itself. The female harp seal takes to the water to find a new mate, so she can return to the ice to give birth, same time next year. The deserted pup can't quite find its feet, but it has an astonishing understanding of what needs to be done to survive alone. After 7 or 8 weeks, this young pup is old enough to teach itself to swim and feed, and is already heading for the ocean. A solitary seal determined to make its way in the world, eventually finding its own mate and continuing the cycle of life. This brown bear is pregnant, and in a matter of months, she'll give birth to 2 or 3 cubs. During autumn, she ate to excess to build up her fat stores, built her maternity den, and is now resting peacefully in it. Her fat stores will give her enough energy to live through the winter and to deliver her cubs. This shelter will be her hideout for the next 6 or 7 months, and it's where her babies will be born. Settled inside, she enters a light hibernation or torpor state, where she will doze on and off. She won't eat, drink, or pass waste. Her pulse rate, breathing, and body temperature will drop to help her conserve energy. But she'll be on high alert, ready to defend herself and her unborn or her newborn cubs, if necessary. She's of a species of bear that's evolved superbly to survive these long, harsh northern winters. Her strategy? Doing as little as possible. With the low-lying forests of Finland now in nightfall. This boar is tracking a sow and her sub-adult cubs. Even with older cubs, mother bears remain protective. And they have good reason. During mating season, adult males can become aggressive and have been known to kill and eat cubs if it means getting closer to his potential mate. But this mother bear isn't interested. She usually mates just once every 3 years, so the timing is not quite right. Males outnumber females in heat by approximately 3 to 1. The odds aren't good for the big boar, who will have to continue his search elsewhere. And a couple of newborns are learning that what goes up must come down. This mother polar bear birthed her cubs inside a den during the depths of winter. For 8 months, she fasted, relying on her body fat for the energy needed to get through the pregnancy and delivery. Once on the outside, the youngsters will stay with their mother until they're at least 2 years old. She'll continue to suckle them and teach them how to hunt. They explore and play together enthusiastically. And their #1 nurturer will keep them safe until they're able to fend for themselves. She and her adolescent cubs will trek approximately 30 kilometers today in search of food. Just meters beneath the family's feet is the prey they depend on for survival. Arctic seals have adapted to stay underwater for up to 45 minutes because to surface is to become vulnerable. But eventually they need to come up for air. Who will see the other first? This is a game many thousands of years in the making. The bear waits. The seal holds on to what could be its final breath. But the bear and the seal are not alone. An Arctic fox trails the polar bear in the hope of scavenging some of her leftovers. For the fox tagging along, it's a gamble worth taking. But unsurprisingly, it's not welcome. This polar bear has already picked up the scent of the resting seal, even though it's 30 kilometers away. The bear stalks methodically, the world's largest land carnivore, on a mission for a meal. A feed like a napping seal will keep the polar bear strong and healthy for at least 8 days. And it needs to eat whenever it can. The polar bear approaches stealthily, its sharp claws and strong limbs helping it to move silently across the ice. Instinctually, the seal has chosen a resting place with good 360-degree visibility. With its highly sensitive hearing, the seal has detected the bear and slips away. But the polar bear has only just begun its day. As an apex predator, facing no competition from other species for their food, the odds of eventually finding a meal are better than most. The unsuspecting seal is ambushed. From stalking the sea ice to still hunting, where the bear silently waits by a breathing hole, ready to grab a seal when it surfaces. But when the ice conditions allow, there is another option. Using their powerful limbs to propel themselves, the element of surprise is everything. The unsuspecting seal is ambushed. The bear gorges on its skin and fat before ripping into the meat. They'll use the ice and snow to clean up their fur as they go. Clean fur helps them stay warm. And when finally they've had their fill, the bear will wander off, leaving the leftovers for other local scavengers to enjoy. A young male digs a shallow pit in the snow and curls up inside. Facing his body away from the bitter wind is a deliberate move. Even with the snow piling up around him, he's not cold. The growing blanket of snow insulates. The thicker it gets, the warmer he is. And with a padded paw for a pillow, the world's biggest bear is settled in for the night. Emerging from a den nearby is a mother bear and her growing cubs. She needs to find food for her offspring, who are almost 2 years old. Soon, they'll be able to leave the family to stake their own territory. But until then, she plays a crucial role in teaching them how to navigate, find food, and eventually become self-reliant individuals, able to survive the Arctic winter. Setting a leisurely pace shows them how to conserve energy. She's helping them get fit for future battles and disciplines them when they get out of hand. Young cubs who'll one day reign confidently as rulers of the Arctic. Emperor penguins trek and slide over the landfast ice to find familiar breeding grounds and begin their annual courtship ritual. Monogamous by nature, they call out to locate a penguin they've mated with before. If they're first-timers, the males will be as boisterous as they can to attract an eligible hen's attention. Female emperors only produce one egg a year, so they have to choose a lifelong partner wisely. Both the male and female's impressive yellow plumage serves them well when attracting a mate. 2 months later, in the depths of winter, the impregnated hen lays her egg. This is the riskiest time in the life cycle of the species. It triggers an extraordinary example of animal co-parenting. First, the mother must hand over the precious cargo to the father, which is done very carefully. Drop the egg, and the embryo will freeze immediately. And the year's breeding season would be wasted. The transfer is successful. The father is steady enough to take the egg and rest it carefully on his feet. While the baby-to-be is safe, Mother Emperor must now put her life in jeopardy for the sake of the family. She's had no food during mating and pregnancy and has exhausted her nutrition stores. So heads back to the sea to feed. She will spend more than 2 months swimming and foraging for the seafood that she'll regurgitate and share with her chick when she returns. Back on the ice, Superdad's taken over as full-time carer. The adult penguin will incubate the egg for about 65 days in his brood pouch. This keeps it at approximately 36 degrees Celsius above zero. While all around, the mercury is more likely to be 36 degrees below. This male penguin has already hatched his egg. The fluffy chick is balanced on the insteps of his father's feet, partially covered by the brood pouch, the penguin equivalent of a warm hug. It's vital these two stay close. The chick can't regulate its own temperature for the first 50 days of life and would freeze to death if left alone. The doting father feeds his nestling a curd he's made himself. Called crop milk, the male emperor penguin can produce this high-fat substance from his esophagus and deliver it directly from his beak, keeping his chick alive until the female returns. By the time the chicks are 3 or 4 months old, they're forming groups for warmth and safety. The penguin parents continue to alternate on the ice and in the ocean. They return to regurgitate fish into the mouths of their growing babes. Come the end of the cold season, the almost fully grown penguins will be ready to go it alone. They head to the Southern Ocean, teaching themselves how to feed in the open waters, and won't return to the colony for at least another community that this species excels. In the ultimate act of cooperation, they form huddles, choreographed groups that shuffle against the wind. Those on the outside shield those on the inside. And to share the shelter, the huddle constantly shifts, allowing everyone a turn in the warm centre. This admirable collective behaviour reduces heat loss by up to 50%. This is the emperor penguin's incredible solution to surviving the bitter winter. To ensure their collective survival, they've turned the power of cooperation into a successful strategy. And it's made them one of the most resilient species in what is arguably the harshest environment on Earth. The red fox hears his prey before seeing it. A rodent is scurrying around its burrow, 12 centimetres below the snow. The hunter tilts its head to better locate the telltale sound of footsteps. This is where their super senses prove even more astonishing. For not only can the red fox hear, see, smell, touch, and taste, it may also have an extraordinary sixth sense. Researchers believe the fox to be the first and only documented case of an animal using the Earth's magnetic field to help them hunt. Once its acute hearing has assisted in pinpointing the location of the burrow, a magnetic pull tells the fox in which direction to pounce. Using its own internal compass, the nimble canine establishes which direction is northeast. It launches headfirst into the rodent's burrow. When aligned in this way, foxes enjoy a success rate of 74%. Pouncing in a different direction, they'd be successful no more than 18% of the time. So, in positioning himself perfectly, the clever fox quadruples his chances of a kill. This leap of faith is known as mousing. It's not always a direct hit, and it burns up a lot of precious energy. So the animal is weighing up whether the high jump is worth trying again and again. Success. A high-protein meal, the reward for a ravenous red fox on borrowed ground. The world's largest cat, and the only tiger to live and thrive in snow. The Siberian tiger roams the strikingly beautiful forests of far eastern Russia. These majestic cats are known locally as the guardians of the forest. With a lighter orange coat than other tiger species, the Siberian tiger's fur is also longer and thicker, including a thick mane to keep them warm. For the majority of their lives, Siberian tigers live and hunt solo. Needing to eat often, they will roam kilometers in search of deer, small bears, and one of their main prey species, wild boar. In the wild, the predator-prey relationship between these two animals is important for the entire ecosystem. Helping to regulate boar populations, which in turn has beneficial effects on vegetation and other wildlife species. For elk, the risk of being attacked lessens when they are part of a large group. They depend on each other for their increased odds of survival. This bull's vigilance means he is able to draw the wolves' attention away from the herd, allowing them to escape. Deep snow works in the bull's favor. Confronting the wolves with his size and impressive antlers, he aims to intimidate. Finding refuge in a thermal stream where the wolf's footing is less sure has guaranteed this bull's survival and diverted attention away from his herd. However, for the younger and weaker members of the herd, the wolf pack is too fast and agile. Using their instinctive hunting tactics, they overcome the young elk. To survive the winter, wolves must hunt. And elk must stick together. This mother and baby know it's nicer in a warm bath than out. The local thermal springs generally sit at a soothing 40 degrees Celsius. Heated by volcanic activity, and the ideal temperature for a snow monkey spa. They'll loll about in the warming waters for up to 10 hours a day, grooming, playing, and as scientists have discovered, relieving stress. The macaque have only been submerging themselves since the 1960s, when one curious monkey discovered the delights of a steaming hot bath. Now it's a regular occurrence, and a remarkable example of how animals' winter survival strategies are always adapting.
They're trapped. Her instinct is to lead her babies to safety. But the cubs have no idea who they're up against. She's lost track of a cub. She'll fight to the death for her family. But the males won't risk further injury. Thanks to their mother's bravery, 3 of her cubs have survived. She can't rest for long. She's all they've got. She's come into season. Her scent will carry to any lions in the area, including those she most wants to avoid. The young males who destroyed her family. But with the hunting grounds opening up, another, even bigger male is drawn to the area. His dark mane and deep call are signs he's in his prime. It's risky. But if they join forces, he could offer protection and hunting support. Her newfound alliance is short-lived. The stranger moves on after only a few days. Alone once more. But this time, pregnant. She won't be hunting for just herself anymore.
Majestic young adult lions. Without territory of their own, they spend their time in an area roughly 25 kilometers north of their first home. As this leopard knows only too well, they've claimed enough of his prey. The lions have started to attract a lot of attention. And the Maasai have given them names to suit their characters. This is Olomina, the lame one. No scars on his face, he neither joins the hunt nor fights, but sexually he's the most active of all. As an adolescent, he trespassed on other males' territory. Now he has difficulty walking. Olosiadu, the stay-behind. He's a cautious soul, often isolating himself from his brothers. Lokolup, the tag-along, has a permanently runny nose. They think a buffalo hoof broke the bridge. Constant pain holds him back. With the radio collar, scientists track the brothers. Orpadan, the hunter, always in the lead and first to the prey. Supremely self-confident and relaxed, he's a real fighter. On the left, Olobor, the sister killer. He's the boss, very self-contained. The strongest male, he can be ruthlessly aggressive. Together, these two define the fate of the group. In the spring of 2021, observers had a surprise: the arrival of the 5 lions' mothers. The females were forced from their territory when a big pride invaded from the east. Actually, the boys are too old to be with their mothers. It's an unusual setup, as the mothers aren't alone. They've brought the young they've been raising in the meantime. 3 young males and 2 females. 13 lions altogether. A formidable group. The young play while the 5 brothers look to their experienced mothers to capture prey for them all. These fascinating new surroundings require thorough exploration. Rambunctious juveniles could warn off prey. At other times, their enthusiasm will come in useful. You wouldn't call this a proper pride. It's more a loose grouping of convenience to hunt together. In every other way, the interests of the mothers and their older sons diverge. For one thing, mating with your half-sisters is out of the question, let alone with your mother. But the brothers' urge to reproduce is growing stronger. As so often, Olobor the Strong takes his lion's share. The others know the rules. A pride male's duty is to protect the young. In this grouping, however, the males have no offspring to protect. The females get nothing back for their hard work. In the long run, that will be a problem. Hunger takes them into unfamiliar regions where they could easily meet other lions. They're very unsettled. For weeks, they dare not cross the Rongai River. That might mean entering another pride's territory. But curiosity and hunger finally get the better of them. They must have a powerful urge to cross. These cats do not like water, especially when it's deeper than expected. One morning, they come across a single hippopotamus that hasn't reached the safety of his usual pool. This arouses the brothers' hunting instincts. The lions have spotted a female on her own. She noticed them too late. They surround her out of the high grass. Working together, they distract the cow so she can't use her lethal horns. One of the lionesses dares a frontal attack. She needs to grip the cow's muzzle. The brothers hold back, letting the mothers get on with the dangerous work. "500 meters away, the herd is grazing. Buffalo have poor eyesight, but the cow's bleating attracts their attention. The cavalry's coming. You don't mess with angry buffalo. Even Orpada knows that. All that wasted effort. The lions have nothing. They'll have to keep following the herd in hopes of a better chance. Lions are powerful but slow, so they have to concentrate on the bigger prey animals. Buffalo, too, depend on their strength, but also on their solidarity. A kind of balance has grown between the two species. Aerial views show groups of friendly buffalo coming together, close relations behaving like a big family. This group solidarity is surprisingly effective. Seriously ill, even blind buffalo are protected by their family groups. They survive, carried along by the community.
While many birds sing to attract a partner, the male woodpecker drums, using his beak to beat the bark. The woodpecker declares his territory. His pecking serves to attract a potential mate and ward off other suitors. The rhythmic beat carrying across the forest. An interested female picks up on the drumming and answers his call. Once the woodpeckers pair off, they will stay together for the breeding season, raising their young chicks until it leaves the nest. This juvenile woodpecker is a product of last year's breeding season. Outside of breeding season, most woodpecker species prefer to live a solitary life, their omnivorous diet consisting of whatever food's available, whether in the trees or on the forest floor. Having left the safety of the nest, the juvenile woodpecker must learn to feed itself. using its jackhammer-like beak to dig out insects or larvae to eat. Woodpeckers reach sexual maturity at 12 months of age, meaning come next winter, it will be this one's turn to mate.
And this male is struggling to find a dance partner. And muscling in on a happy couple isn't going to work. His chances are fading. But after searching this 6-mile-long lake, his perseverance might finally pay off. A single female. Strong eye contact is an engaging greeting. Now he must echo her every move. But can he dance? By taking up to 20 steps a second, they glide together across the water. Showing off their stamina and coordination, a sign they're in tune. These lovers will dance together until the season's end.